This is one of the most controversial releases of 2023. This is the new IWC Ingenieur, and in this video I'm gonna review it. When IWC reviewed the new Gerald Genta IWC Ingenieur version, I was very disappointed. But now, after spending some time with this watch, I've changed my mind. But not too much. In this video I want to share my first thoughts and impressions about this watch. So how is this new IWC was engineered? When the rumors about IWC bringing the Gerald Genta version of the Ingenieur started to circulate around, I was very excited. I love this watch for a long time, I mean the original vintage version. I had the chance to see the original model a long time ago, the one of the SL ones. I was expecting IWC to recreate exactly that model as closely as possible, but that's not what happened. It is a great watch, but it's different, and I will talk about this later. Since its inception in 1955, the Ingenieur model had many iterations through the years. The most famous version was of course designed by the legendary watch designer Gerald Genta in 1976, who was responsible for designing some of the most iconic watches in the history, particularly ones with integrated bracelet design. Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, Patek Philippe Nautilus. Unlike its counterparts, the Ingenieur wasn't really a big success for IWC. In 2005, IWC reimagined the model with more modern and bolder design. After only 4 or 5 years of the production, they replaced the Genta-inspired design with another regular round case version. Maybe it was done following the Rolex Milgauss suit. Many watch enthusiasts were begging IWC to bring the Gerald Genta version back. For some reason it took IWC a very long time to do it, so they missed the peak of the integrated bracelet watches craze. But here we are with the new introduced in 2023 IWC Ingenieur, the Gerald Genta version. Well, almost the Gerald Genta version. Many watch enthusiasts were happy, but even more were upset. In this video I will share my first thoughts and impressions of the new Ingenieur. I also will do a quick comparison with my P-Rex and other familiar watches that I have in my collection. I want to say big thanks to Ren from Wrist & Co for making this possible, for lending me this watch for review, so I can review it and share my thoughts with you. If you're looking to buy any luxury watch, check out Wrist & Co Instagram. So when the new Ingenieur was announced, these things about the watch I did not like. The size. 40mm was not too bad, but I wished they made it smaller. The dial pattern. I did not like it at all in the pictures and videos. I almost hated it. Did not like the crown guards either. I wanted the Gerald Genta model reissue, not the inspired by Gerald Genta model. The turquoise/green color of this particular model looked hideous in the pictures for me, and as many other watch enthusiasts, I did not like price at all. I thought it was too much for the IWC model with such specifications, even with the Genta's design. But when I had my hands on the new Ingenieur, these thoughts immediately struck me. And these thoughts were my first impressions of the watch, so I think it's good to have them documented here. The watch looked smaller than I thought it would be based on the specs info. The chest pattern in person looks better than in photos and videos. It doesn't bother me as I thought it would. The crown guards don't bother me either, but I still think it would be better without them. The turquoise/green/blue color of the dial also looks much better in the light than in photos and videos. In certain angles on the wrist, it gives me a strong Patek Philippe Nautilus vibe. As for the price, well, let's talk about this at the end of the video. I am a big fan of integrated bracelet watches. I used to have an Oyster Quartz, which I loved a lot, then Tudor Royal, Tissot PRX, and so on. So why this model has so much hype? I think these 3 factors played major role contributing to the hype. Gerald Genta design and heritage plays a big role, of course. The whole integrated bracelet watches craze. The watch got plenty good exposure thanks to social media. How you can buy this watch? Right now you can only order this new Ingenieur through IWC boutiques. Maybe the production is very low, or maybe it is a way to keep the high demand for the watch. There are not many of these watches on the secondary market yet. I may be wrong here, but I think we will see the integrated bracelet trend cooling off a little bit, and with that the demand for the watches like Ingenieur will slow down a bit as well. To me, this watch is a quintessence of all things I love in watches. Integrated bracelet watches, Gerald Genta heritage in design, great specifications for everyday wear, solid brand name but at the same time not as recognized as Patek or Rolex. In most cases only enthusiasts would know anything about this model. All these points create a full package for me. But the price. The design of the watch. It has an integrated bracelet design, screws are aligned. I have this what they call aqua dial model, but they also have white, black and gray color variations. The gray color is for the titanium version. What do I think about this aqua turquoise blue dial color? I'm so excited to have this specific color because I think it's the most interesting out of all of them. Saying that, I think that my choice for the color would be black, but I haven't seen them in person, so I may be wrong, but I think the black color would be more versatile. At the same time, I think the aqua color is the most interesting out of all of them. This dial color changes depends on the light. Sometimes it's more green, sometimes it's more blue, sometimes it's more turquoise, depending on the light. In the twilight, it appears as a very dark black color. So the dark color is very interesting, and I didn't know that I would like this aqua color as much as I did. At the same time, I think that the black dial should be a more versatile version, especially if this Ingenieur would be your one or maybe second watch in the collection. My issue with the design is that the watch is so heavily inspired by the original Genta's Ingenieur is not quite the same watch. IWC improved the watch, no doubt about that, but at the same time it's the updated model. From a certain angle the watch looks like Nautilus, as I said before, it's like the Nautilus but without those elephant ears. I think that Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet did a better job. They kept the original design, improving it through the years. So to me the Ingenieur is the fantastic watch, but it's not the same model that Gerald Genta created. It is the heavily inspired one. That's how I personally see it. The specs. The specs of the watch are pretty competitive. You have a stainless steel case, there is also the titanium version available. I mean available to order from the boutique. The diameter 40mm and it wears a little bit smaller than it is. The thickness 10.7mm. The watch is very thin for what it is. Water resistance 100 meters. It has an anti-magnetic iron case. It has a COSC certified sort of in-house movement. I think that the movement belongs to the Richmond group and it also can be found in Baume Mercier watches with 120 hours of power reserve. 120 hours of power reserve is very impressive. It has a well finished movement that you unfortunately would not be able to see through the closed back case. The bracelet. The bracelet is well finished and very well made. I love how it looks and I love how it fits on my wrist. For some reason it's actually pulling my hair sometimes. It has an impressive IWC link removal mechanism. No micro adjustments are available, but it's the case with many integrated bracelet watches. And now to the tough question, the price and the competition. The price is a big issue with this watch. The price made many watch enthusiasts upset, including me. There is a lot of competition in this price range. Some of the coolest models with integrated bracelet fall in the IWC Ingenieur price range between stainless steel models and the titanium one. And some are even cheaper. We are talking about Piaget Polo, Chopard Alpine Eagle, Gerard Perregaux Laureato, Zenith Defy Skyline, Cartier Santos, Bulgari Octo Roma, as well as some other great and iconic watches like Rolex Submariner, for example. The price competition is also strong within the IWC lines. The IWC Mark XX with the same movement and specs is available for the half price. How is the size of the watch and how is it on the wrist? As I mentioned before, I thought the watch would be bigger than it is and it would not fit my wrist nicely. I have a 17cm wrist and the watch set perfectly. The watch looks and fits smaller than the dimensions on the paper suggest, which is not always the case with integrated bracelet watches. The watch is sporty and elegant at the same time. It can be worn on the most possible occasions. And another good part is that the watch does not feel delicate or fragile. With 100 meters of water resistance, you definitely can have it for your trips, swims and many other life event occasions. Is this watch for me? Absolutely. In fact, I liked it so much that I have scenarios in my mind of selling some of my watches in order to get the Ingenieur. As I mentioned already, this watch checks all or almost all boxes for me. Perfect dimensions and fit, check. Great specs, check. Well-made finishing, check. Gerald Genta design, check. Integrated bracelet design, check. Well-known but not too well-known brand, check. I'm pretty sure that this kind of watch you won't see on many people's wrists, which is a benefit for me too. I wish to see IWC extend the line with other colors or maybe other model variations, like the true Gerald Genta design version. But again, it is a pricey watch. Is the price justified for the new Ingenieur? Here's what I think. From the point of view that the watch was designed alongside Nautilus and Royal Oak, but the same designer and at the same time in history, and if you will take into consideration that the big three models with integrated bracelet, Royal Oak, Nautilus and Overseas is not designed by Gerald Genta, they cost much more. It may be justified. Just maybe. But IWC is also nowhere near these high horology brands on many levels. From my experience with the Ingenieur, I can say that it is a more superior watch compared to the Mark XX. Twice price superior?
I don't think so.
With the titanium version priced at whopping 20,000 Canadian dollars, it's crazy. So overall, I still think that the price is quite steep. In my opinion, it definitely should be more expensive than the Mark 20, but not twice expensive. I guess it's up to you to decide whether you are ready to pay a premium for the Gerald Genta design or not. As for the secondary market prices, the market will tell if the secondary prices will be lower than retail or not. And I will be definitely on the lookout for the secondary market prices because I want to have this engineer in my collection. Let me know what you think about this IWC Ingenieur. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye now and take care.